Well, as you can see, Derrell and I are back in Oklahoma. So Derrell, the last time I left y'all, it was in Aberdeen, Scotland, but y'all actually continued on north to the Shetland Islands, right?
Yeah, so with the study abroad course, we continued up to the Shetland Islands, which is the farthest north point in the UK. So that's an overnight ferry ride to get there. Really interesting place, obviously very far north, and we were there on about the longest day of the year, so there wasn't a lot of darkness while we were there. And then but we got to see some traditional agriculture, croft farming, some traditional sheep production, as well as a lot of archaeological and historical information while we were there.
Well, I could talk Scotland and Tennant beer all day, but I'm sure our viewers would like to know what's happening in the livestock markets. So let's just jump right in. We've been talking about herd rebuilding. Is that any indication at all that that's happening?
No, we're still getting smaller actually as an industry. We started this year with the lowest cattle numbers in decades. The indications are that the herd has gotten smaller this year. We're looking for signs of, there's two things that'll happen when we start herd rebuilding. One will be heifer retention. That's the big one that we're looking for. The other one is that cow culling will reduce to minimal levels as producers try to hang on to cows a little bit longer than usual. Cow slaughter is down about 16% this year, but if you look at it in the context of the broader set of numbers, that's probably not enough to indicate that we are actually in the process of herd rebuilding. That's still going to give us a culling rate of 10 to 11%. It'll probably drop down around 9% when we start rebuilding the herd. July 1 Cattle on Feed report also included a breakdown of steers and heifers in feedlots, and those numbers indicated that we still have right at 40% of all the feedlot inventory is heifers. So we continue to place heifers in the feedlot. We're not keeping them out in the country apparently at this point, and so that's a process that has yet to get started.
Do you have any idea when that might begin?
Well, there's a couple of things that are going to have to happen. One is obviously when can we do it? So that's a question really of the drought situation. I think by and large we've had better forage conditions this year, and some folks can do it and probably are doing it to a limited degree. But there are concerns going forward about re-emerging drought, and particularly with the idea of La Nina rebuilding in the U.S. That's a concern for later this year and on into next year. So that may be holding folks back a little bit. The other part of it is just producer expectations, which is a function of the financial situation, the cost of financing herd rebuilding, and just producer expectations for these markets. They're enjoying these high markets right now, but the question is, how long will they last? Will they last long enough to make it worth that investment in those heifers for future production? Apparently producers don't believe we're there yet, so they have not started that process.
So what is your outlook for the remainder of the year? Just a couple months left, really. It's kind of hard to believe, but what's your outlook?
Well, so far this year, we came into the year expecting beef production to be down 4 to 4.5%. It's not going to be down that much because in the first half of the year, slaughter was down modestly for steers and heifers, 1.5 or so percent. But again, we still got a lot of heifers on feed, so we're still slaughtering quite a lot of heifers. But carcass weights have increased dramatically this year, so fed beef production, which is about 84% of total beef production, is actually up slightly through the first half of the year. Now the non-fed beef, the cow slaughter part of that, is way down. It's down about 13%. But the point is, as we go forward, we'll probably see a bit more decrease in beef production, but we're going to end the year more like a 3% year-over-year decrease in beef production compared to the earlier estimates of 4 to 5%. So, we're still on track. Obviously, we've had strong prices. We've set new record prices for cattle so far this year. Taking a little bit of a break here in the summer, kind of through the summer doldrums, but the markets are still on track to continue generally moving higher as we go forward.
All righty, thanks, Derrell. Dr. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.